Imagine a leader whose compassion knows no bounds, a visionary who saw beyond the walls of tradition and dogma, and a soul that wept for the suffering of humanity. Today we delve into the profound heart of Swami Vivekananda, a man whose life was an unending symphony of service, sacrifice, and spiritual brilliance. In this episode, we explore some of the most touching moments of Swami Vivekananda's journey, moments that reveal the depths of his compassion, his revolutionary ideas on organized service, and the founding of the Ramakrishna Mission. Witness how the Swami's vision for a better world challenged the norms and inspired a new path for spiritual seekers, blending ancient wisdom with modern action. Stay tuned as we uncover the stories that defined his unparalleled legacy. From the following incident, one can learn the depths of the Swami's compassion. Many inmates of the mutt thought that he was not very discriminating in the choice of his disciples. Almost anyone could obtain spiritual initiation from him after a little supplication, and some of them were found later to indulge in wicked actions. One of his own monastic disciples, Swami Nirmalananda, spoke to him about his lack of proper judgment and his inability to understand human nature. The Swami's face became red with emotion. He exclaimed, "What did you say? You think that I do not understand human nature? About these unfortunate people, I know not only all they have done in their present lives, but also what they did in their previous ones. I am fully aware of what they will do in the future. Then why do I show kindness to them? These hapless people have knocked at many doors for peace of mind and a word of encouragement, but everywhere have been repulsed. If I turn them down, they will have no place to go." Another incident indicating the tender and compassionate heart of Swami Vivekananda may be mentioned here. One day he was engaged in teaching a disciple the Vedas with the abstruse commentary of Sayanacharya when Girish Chandra Ghosh, the great playwright of Bengal and an intimate disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, arrived. By way of teasing him, the Swami said, addressing him by his familiar name, "Well, GC, you have spent your whole life with Krishna and Vishnu. You are quite innocent of the Vedas and other scriptures." Girish Chandra admitted his ignorance of the scriptures and said, "Hail Sri Ramakrishna, the very embodiment of the Vedas." An adept in the knowledge of human nature, Girish was well aware that Swami Vivekananda, in spite of his preaching the austere philosophy of Vedanta, had a heart that was tender in the extreme. He wanted to reveal that side of the Swami's nature before the disciple and began to paint, in his usual poetic language, a heart-rending picture of the afflictions of the Indian people. The starvation of the masses, the humiliation of Hindu women, the ill health and general suffering of the people everywhere. Suddenly, addressing the Swami, he said, "Now please tell me, do your Vedas teach us how to remedy this state of affairs?" As the Swami listened to his friend's words, he could hardly suppress his emotion. At last it broke all bounds and he burst into tears. Drawing the attention of the Swami's disciple to the great leader, Girish Chandra said, "Perhaps you have always admired your teacher's intellect. Now you see his great heart." On May 1st, 1897, Swami Vivekananda called a meeting of the monastic and lay devotees of Sri Ramakrishna at the house of the Master's intimate disciple Balaram Bose, for the purpose of establishing his work on an organized basis. He told them that by contrasting Hindu society with American society, he was convinced that lack of an organizing spirit was one of the great shortcomings of the Hindu character. Much of the intelligence and energy of the Hindus was being expended without producing any fruitful result. He also recalled how Buddhism had spread both in India and abroad through Buddhist organizations. Therefore, he asked the cooperation of the monastic and householder disciples of Sri Ramakrishna in order to organize the educational, philanthropic, and religious activities which he had already inaugurated, but which had hitherto been carried out in an unsystematic way. Further, the Swami declared that in a country like India, in its then current state of development, it would not be wise to form an organization on a democratic basis, where each member had an equal voice and decisions were made according to the vote of the majority. Democratic principles could be followed later, when with the spread of education people would learn to sacrifice individual interests and personal prejudices for the public weal. Therefore, said the Swami, the organization for the time being should be under the leadership of a dictator, whose authority everybody must obey. In the fullness of time, it would come to be guided by the opinion and consent of others. Moreover, he himself was only acting in the capacity of a servant of the common master, as were they all. Swami Vivekananda proposed to the members present that the association should bear the name of him in whose name we have become sannyasins, taking whom as your ideal you are leading the life of householders, and whose holy name, influence and teachings have, within 12 years of his passing away, spread in such an unthought of way both in the East and in the West. All the members enthusiastically approved of the Swami's proposal, and the Ramakrishna Mission Association came into existence. The aim of the association was to spread the truths that Ramakrishna, for the good of humanity, had preached and taught through the example of his own life, and to help others to put them into practice for their physical, mental, and spiritual advancement. The duty of the association was to direct in the right spirit the activities of the movement inaugurated by Sri Ramakrishna for the establishment of fellowship among the followers of different religions, knowing them all to be so many forms of one undying eternal religion. Its methods of action were to be A. To train men so as to make them competent to teach such knowledge and sciences as are conducive to the material and spiritual welfare of the masses. B. To promote and encourage arts and industries. C. To introduce and spread among the people in general Vedantic and other ideas as elucidated in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. The Ramakrishna Mission Association was to have two departments of action, Indian and foreign. The former, through retreats and monasteries established in different parts of India, would train such monks and householders as might be willing to devote their lives to the teaching of others. The latter would send trained members of the order to countries outside India to start centers there for the preaching of Vedanta, in order to bring about a closer relationship and better understanding between India and foreign countries. The aims and ideals of the Ramakrishna Mission Association, being purely spiritual and humanitarian, were to have no connection with politics. Swami Vivekananda must have felt a great inner satisfaction after the establishment of the association. His vision of employing religion through head, heart and hands for the welfare of man was realized. He found no essential conflict among science, religion, art, and industry. All could be used for the worship of God. God could be served as well through his diverse manifestations as through the contemplation of his non-dual aspect. Further, as the great heart of Ramakrishna had embraced all of mankind with its love, so also the Ramakrishna Mission was pledged to promote brotherhood among different faiths, since their harmony constituted the eternal religion. Swami Vivekananda, the general president, made Brahmananda and Yogananda the president and the vice president of the Kolkata Center. Weekly meetings were organized at Balaram's house to discuss the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta scriptures, and religious subjects in general. Even now, Swami Vivekananda could not completely convince some of his brother disciples about his new conception of religion, namely, the worship of God through the service of man. They had heard Sri Ramakrishna speak time and again against preaching, excessive study of the scriptures, and charitable activities, and exhort aspirants to intensify their love of God through prayer and meditation in solitude. Therefore, they regarded Vivekananda's activities in the West as out of harmony with the Master's teachings. One of them said bluntly to the Swami, "You did not preach our Master in America, you only preached yourself." The Swami retorted with equal bluntness, "Let people understand me first, then they will understand Sri Ramakrishna." In our next episode, we will witness an intense and emotional chapter of Vivekananda's life, where his vision for the Ramakrishna Mission is challenged, and he passionately defends his broader understanding of spirituality. You won't want to miss the powerful moments that reveal the true depth of his devotion and the sacrifices he made for humanity. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.